Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Rise or Fall to talk about Thursday night football. The New York Football Jets travel to take on the Colts in Indianapolis. On paper, not that exciting. On paper, yeah, just a regular Thursday night football game. But from a DFS perspective, a lot of hidden gems in this one. Keep it here. I'll be right back. Hey, and we are back. Once again, I'm Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Rise or Fall to talk about Thursday night football. The New York Jets travel to the Colts in what should be, as I said in the opening, kind of just your regular run-of-the-mill Thursday night football game. Two teams, kind of, are they on the same trajectory right now, long-term? I don't know. Does it really matter? We just want to know what's going on tonight, Thursday night. But before we get into that, just make sure you go to Team Rise or Fall, like, share it, subscribe. I shouldn't have to tell any of you the deal, and you guys have been so good in terms of sharing the content and liking and leaving comments. I love the comments, especially on YouTube, that challenge me, challenge my takes, or challenge my projections. Those are good, very awesome kind of conversations to have, because when you come down to it, you can go anywhere for chalk plays, or you can go anywhere and everyone's agreeing and everyone's having a good time, which I'm not saying is a bad move, but I love to be challenged. I love to be, questioned. Why do you like this guy? Why do you like this matchup? I mean, I dig through everything with a fine-tooth comb, per usual. Here are my notes. I will send out a screenshot of those right along with this video here. And briefly, these testimonials that you keep seeing pop up with Team Rise or Fall, they're awesome. I mean, I know I keep using the same adjectives: fantastic, awesome, outstanding, but it is what it is. They're unbelievably great, and a testimonial is only as good as the person writing it, right? You can tell. Does it come from the heart? Does it come from your soul? Or does it seem forced? Like, hey, I was asked to do this. And Team Rise or Fall, we don't ask you to do anything you don't want to do. Although we do want you to come in here, learn, build, and compete. That's the motto. So again, make sure you go to Team Rise or Fall and check out what premium subscription is for you. There's several of them. You don't have to go right for the head honcho here. Start slow, $9.99 a week, only $1.42 a day. And then you kind of pick up the pace as you're learning and as you're building friendships and some sort of camaraderie with the folks in the Discord, which is free. All right, let's get into the football game. As I said, the Jets travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts in this one. The line opened at about 46 even here, and now it's been bumped up a half a point. It's at 46.5. And at this stage of the game, hopefully I will give out my final score prediction at the end of the game. Couple quick betting trends, which I noticed have a large impact on these games. I've said it. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times before. The Vegas lines and the point spreads, that is one of the foundations of my daily fantasy football kind of, what I do, right? So this one, the total has gone over in 4 of New Jersey's last 5 games. The Jets, however, 4 of the last Jets football games have gone over. And on the other side of things, the total has gone over in 4 of the Colts' last 5 games. So when you look at it, everybody's going to be, rushing to grab the over in here. Hold on, I wouldn't be so quick to put that money in yet. One more. The Indianapolis Colts, they're 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games. So as we go through this video, you'll see how I weave all these betting trends into my selections. Let's start at quarterback. Carson Wentz, Colts hosting the Jets. Jets are 10th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, $16,500 on FanDuel, $10,800 on DraftKings. Personally, in the column in my notes, I always write in red my personal projections for each players. Most of you seem to like those, so we're going to keep running with it. Experimenting and working things out on the fly. I'd like to think that's my specialty. It's what I enjoy to do. So when it comes to Carson Wentz, I have him around 20 completions, not crazy, but around 240-ish passing yards and 2 touchdown passes. Where are those touchdowns going to go? I'm sure we'll get to it. I'm almost certain we'll get to it as we move along. Let's talk about the New York Jets. That their quarterback, Mike White, had an unbelievably great game in Week 8. I just saw a photo of his jersey, now hangs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 405 yards, something along those lines. So are we in for a letdown with Mike White this evening? Let's talk about it briefly. The Jets go to the Colts. Colts, they're 22nd, a plus matchup against opposing quarterbacks. Mike White, $14,000 on FanDuel, $9,800 on DraftKings. I have Mike or Mr. White, as I should say, for around 25 completions. Pretty solid. 280 to 290 total passing yards and 1, maybe 2 touchdowns in this one. So of the 2 quarterbacks, call me crazy, but I would almost prefer Mike White this evening just because of ownership percentage. Now, look, I know what you're going to say. After his unbelievably great game last week, the ownership percentages will probably be higher than normal. In this game, I think everybody's going to rush to fit in some of the other offensive skill positions like running backs and wide receivers, where we might see just a little bit of a dip in Mike White. And again, you get another set of folks who think Mike White, you just like roulette. I always reference. You play black or you play red, and I've already seen a lot of folks saying, well, we're in for a letdown with Mike White. Maybe so, but that might give us just the teeniest bit of edge we need in terms of ownership percentage. If all those folks that say we're in for a letdown, no way this guy or this kid can back it up, you're going to get suppressed ownership, but not by a lot. You're looking at, where it would be, what, 10, 12%? It might be 8 to 9% because of all the nonsense going around on social media and in other videos. So to me, Mike White, $14,000 on FanDuel, $9,800 on DraftKings. That's the way I'm going this evening. Let's talk about the running backs. Jonathan Taylor, stud, JT, RB1, and you go from there. The Jets, they're 32nd overall against opposing running backs. I mean, can it get any sweeter for JT? But the price reflects that. Jonathan Taylor, $16,000 on FanDuel, $11,600 on DraftKings. Now with JT, I have him for around 18 carries. I got my fingers crossed. Please let JT get 18. What if we see 20 carries from JT? We'll be on the moon. So I said 18, 20 carries, about 85 to 95 yards. I wouldn't be shocked to see JT go over 100 rushing yards in this one. But I also have him in a sweet spot for about 3, maybe 4 receptions for another 25 or 30 yards. He will find the end zone on the ground. So you're looking at about 130, 140 total all-purpose yards for Jonathan Taylor this evening. There's just no way around JT this evening here. Jonathan Taylor will be in 99.9% of folks' lineups. Let's go down. Nyheim Hines, $7,500 on FanDuel, $5,600 on DraftKings. Nothing crazy. 5 carries, 20 yards, 3 receptions, 25 yards. So you're looking at this thing. You could say Nyheim Hines is he does a little bit of everything, but the price doesn't reflect kind of what I want to do here this evening. So to me, Nyheim Hines can be left off of your rosters, but I wouldn't fault anybody if you wanted to play Nyheim Hines given the matchup. The Jets, 32nd overall against opposing running backs. So Marlon Mack, $5,500 on FanDuel, only $800 on DraftKings. Now, I keep referencing social media because if you go around Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever your Instagram, whatever you're doing, you can get a feel for the trends and which way people are leaning here. And I've heard a bunch of folks say, well, Marlon Mack, do they want to trade him? Well, that is over with. The trade deadline is done, so no more of that, showcasing players in hopes that they get traded. So to me, Marlon Mack doesn't go back to obscurity, but this game is going to be a heavy time for JT and a little bit of Nyheim Hines in this one. Let's talk about the rookie running back in New York, Michael Carter in Indianapolis. The Colts, very good defensively up front, and their linebackers, more specifically, the maniac Darius Leonard. They're 3rd overall against opposing running backs, but in terms of Carter, I don't think that matters because the workload and the volume will be there. Michael Carter, $13,000 on FanDuel, $8,600 on DraftKings. I have Carter around 12, 13 carries, 50, 60 yards, a touchdown, and then about 4 or 5 receptions for another 40 or 50 receiving yards to me. So this one, another one. I love the idea of stacking Jonathan Taylor and Michael Carter, one in the MVP spot and one in the flex and vice versa. So I'm keeping my core my player pool, I should say, very tight, very concise in this one, and it's anchored by Jonathan Taylor and Michael Carter. Ty Johnson, $9,000 on FanDuel, $6,400 on DraftKings, 5 carries, 25, maybe 30 yards. And then on DraftKings, if you're looking at that PPR point scoring here, about 3 receptions, maybe 4 for another 25 or 30 yards. And Tevin Coleman already out. I don't know if this guy gets back on the field this season, but again, we're just focused on tonight, Thursday night. Let's talk about the wide receivers. Michael Pittman Jr. Again, no way around this guy this evening. There's a set of about 8 or 9 wide receivers in this game, and I think Michael Pittman Jr. is by far and away the best player of the wide receiver grouping this evening. Michael Pittman Jr., $13,500 on FanDuel, only $10,200 on DraftKings. The Jets, they're 6th overall against opposing wide receivers. I have Pittman, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 75, maybe 80 yards, and yes, this kid will find the end zone. So again, my player pool is starting to take shape. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Carter, and Michael Pittman Jr. Zach Pascal, $8,000 on FanDuel, $6,600 on DraftKings, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 40 yards, averages about 10 yards a reception here. Ashton Doolin, $5,000 on FanDuel, $200 on DraftKings. Nice little salary relief on DraftKings. I have him catching 2, maybe 3 passes, 30, 40 yards, a little ambitious. But again, DraftKings, $200. You could do worse. T.Y. Hilton, not playing. I think that ship has sailed with T.Y. regardless. Jamison Crowder, he's the wide receiver I want personally from the Jets this evening. Crowder, $11,000 on FanDuel, $7,800 on DraftKings. Indianapolis Colts, 26th overall against opposing wide receiver. So let's add Crowder to my short and concise player pool. Crowder, Pittman, Carter, and Jonathan Taylor. Hopefully you've grabbed a pen at this point and you're writing some of this stuff down. I have Crowder, 7 or 8 targets, 5 receptions, 60, maybe 70 yards, and a touchdown. And we talk about the other Jets wide receivers. Won't waste your time here. Keelan Cole Sr. is on the list. Denzel Mims, the second-year kid. And what about Elijah Moore, the rookie from Ole Miss? He had his best professional game last week as Mike White kind of, had his bearings here. So to me, Elijah Moore is on my short list of player pools this evening. $8,000 on FanDuel, $6,200 on DraftKings, 6, maybe 7 targets. Do we see a rapport built here with Mike White and Elijah Moore, which stinks because we all know Zach Wilson is the Jets quarterback. So we'll see what we get. It's kind of like one of those bands. One night only. We're doing a reunion tour, and that's it. So Mike White, one more night only, and let's see what we can get out of him and Elijah Moore. Elijah, 6, 7 targets, 4, maybe 5 receptions, 60 to 70 yards here. And does he find the end zone? He could, but there's only like 2, maybe 3 touchdowns to go around in this one for the Jets. So it's kind of a mix and match thing here. Tight ends briefly, Mo Alley Cox, always on my radar. Jets 21st overall against opposing tight ends. Mo Alley, $7,500 on FanDuel, $5,200 on DraftKings, 3, 4 targets. I believe whatever targets Mo Alley Cox sees, he catches all of them. So 3 targets, 3 catches, 4 targets, 4 catches for 35 to 45 yards in this one. Jack Doyle, no thank you. I want to mention briefly Tyler Kroft, who is mentioned in bottom of the barrel this week. And go to Team Rise or Fall website, catch it out there, or go to my Twitter page. It's pinned. It's beautiful. Very proud of bottom of the barrel week 9. Tyler Kroft, $6,500 on FanDuel, only $4,000 on DraftKings. And the Colts, they're 24th overall against opposing tight ends. I have Tyler Kroft, 3, 4 targets, 2, maybe 3 receptions, 18 to 25 yards, but I do firmly believe that Tyler catches a touchdown yet again, back-to-back games with touchdown receptions for this guy. So again, Tyler Kroft is very much in my player pool, and I'll run it down at the end of the broadcast here. Kickers, Michael Bagley, or Matt Amendola here. Of the two, I would prefer Michael Bagley because the Jets, they're 31st overall against kickers. Nothing special here. $9,500 on FanDuel, only $4,400 on DraftKings, and then Matt Amendola. I don't know if he's related to Danny. Does that really matter? We're just talking about tonight here. Amendola, $8,500 on FanDuel, $4,200 on DraftKings. Of the two DSTs, the Colts or the Jets, I don't think that this game warrants kind of off the wall or contrarian, put a DST in the flex spot or the MVP spot here. But the Colts, $5,000 on DraftKings. The Jets, $3,000 on DraftKings. Of the two, I could see a case to be made for the Colts here. Their defense, especially their run defense, creates some turnovers. They get in, they pop you, they punch out the football. Darius Leonard, I mentioned him earlier in the video, aka the Maniac. We've seen him just with a closed fist just punch the ball out here. So who's to say that the Colts and Darius Leonard doesn't punch the ball out? They get some sort of fumble recovery, find the end zone in that, or an interception or a pick six, something along those lines. So of the two defenses, I would prefer the Colts. So let's talk about my player pool briefly and how I'm working them in my lineups here. So there's no getting around, as I mentioned. Jonathan Taylor, the rookie Michael Carter, Michael Pittman Jr., Jamison Crowder, and Tyler Kroft. That is my set schedule or my set player pool for both FanDuel and DraftKings. The graphics are up on the screen and we go from there. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all the love and the support we've received. I can't believe it's already week 9 kicks off this evening. It's just gone by, boom, in the blink of an eye. Summer came, October went by. I literally went to bed and I woke up and October was gone here. So just double check, go to Team Rise or Fall, look at what premium subscription is right for you. Now, before we leave, I'll give you my final score projection. I'd like to think that the Jets at the Colts, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be around a 27-28 final to about 14 to 17 points. So let me tie this thing up in a bow. The Colts do win 27-14 in this one. So I'm going to take the under as well. I think the under is almost a lock in this one. So give me the Indianapolis Colts. Give me the under. Final score, what I say, 27 or 28 to, let's just call it 28 to 17 in favor of the Colts. So I appreciate everything, and I will get the heck out of here and I'll leave you be. I will see you once again for College Football Saturday. The video should be out Friday afternoon sometime. Until then, I'll see you later.